Community leaders and activists joined city and state officials on Friday, December 9th, in front of the Ravenswood Generating Station, also known as Big Alice, in Long Island City, calling for power plants to stop using the hazardous number 6 and number 4 fuel oil. The gathering was initiated by Councilmember Costa Constantinidis, the chair of the City Council's Environmental Protection Committee and an outspoken advocate for the usage of clean energy. All speakers emphasized that the power plants that are concentrated in the neighborhoods in which they are located are linked to air pollutants that pose risk to public health, including particulate matter, nitrous oxides, and sulfur dioxide. In Western Queens alone, Councilmember Constantinidis stressed members of communities who live close by power plants such as the Ravenswood Generating Station, which use number 6 and number 4 fuel oil, have been severely affected with asthma and other respiratory illness, even premature death. For decades, he further stressed, power plants in Western Queens have also strongly contributed to increased asthma rates and increases in hospitalizations and ER visits that exceed the average in Queens. Councilmember Constantinidis, who held a committee hearing on power plants on November 28th, where no plant operators showed up to testify, extended another invitation to them to come before the committee and explain how they plan to comply with Local Law 38 of 2015, which requires them to phase out use of number 6 oil in plants citywide by 2020, while he called upon them to phase out use of number 4 oil sooner than the scheduled 2030 deadline. Although plant operators have only 3 years left to comply with the scheduled 2020 phase-out of number 6 oil, at least 5 of them cumulatively burned over 19 million gallons of this type of fuel last year. These plants are located in densely populated areas in Astoria, Long Island City, and Upper East Side. Numbers 6 and 4 are considered to be the dirtiest grades of heating oil available, and all speakers stressed that it is urgent for power plants to stop using them and seek cleaner options available. No power plant located in densely populated residential areas should be putting residents at risk by burning these types of oils, they further emphasized. As he called for power plants to reduce their hazardous emissions, Majority Leader Jimmy Van Bramer said that, quote, Astoria and Long Island City have one of the highest childhood asthma rates in New York City. This is unacceptable. Our communities should not be known as Asthma Alley, he further stressed. State Senator Michael Gianaris, in his address, stressed, among other, that, quote, combating climate change and improving air quality are now more pressing concerns than ever. Senator Gianaris, another strong advocate for clean air and energy, in 2002, while serving as a state assembly member, had led an 8-year successful battle that resulted in the closing of the Poletti power plant in Astoria, which was the single largest source of pollution in New York City for 3 decades. Senator Gianaris, it was the year 2002 when we launched AKTINA TV. Our first story was this power plant behind you, when you were fighting to close it down. And now it's 2016.
We're still fighting. And some of the fights have been successful. We actually closed down the biggest polluter in New York State, in Astoria, the Charles Poletti power plant. So we achieved that. We've met some small successes, but there's still problems. And I got to thank Costa for stepping in and showing a leadership role. We have a lot more work to do, and I'm committed to doing whatever it takes to make sure the air is clean, that people don't suffer from asthma in my communities, and that the air is clean and we don't contribute to the problems of climate change, which are going to affect the whole planet.
Now, all speakers today referred to President-elect Trump and their worries about the new person representing the EPA. What are your thoughts?
I'm very, very concerned, not just about that, but everything with the Trump administration, but especially that. And I think some of the burden is going to fall to the states and the cities to provide those protections. That's why we're here today. We're going to keep fighting. We're going to keep making the case. And hopefully maybe we can even convince some people at the federal level to do the right thing. But it's going to be an uphill battle. in Washington. So we have to make sure in New York, in the state and the city, we do what we have to do.
You think that President-elect Trump and his administration is going to support power plants like these that use the 6 and 4 disastrous oil?
All of the early indications are that they are taking us backwards on issues of environment, issues of air quality, and issues of climate change. President Obama was focused on improving the air quality, on moving to cleaner fuel sources, and the first steps of the incoming Trump administration seem to be rolling those backwards. So I'm very concerned about it. We have a lot of work to do, but that doesn't mean we give up. It means we fight harder.
And also, New York State, or is it city, correct me, is a sanctuary city. How are you going to cope with the Trump administration?
We're going to keep providing for immigrants in our communities. My parents came from another country. A lot of people.
That's why they came legally.
They did come legally, but there are people who are coming to this country. We have to remember why they're here. They're coming to this country for opportunity. They're coming to this country because they think it's a better place. They are very pro-American in that sense. And yes, people that are criminals or have a criminal record or a danger to society should not be here. And those people should be deported and sent back to the countries they came from. But children that were born here, the dreamers as they call them, the ones that through no fault of their own are here in an undocumented status. Plenty of Greek Americans, by the way, were here in an undocumented
Especially
fashion.
after the crisis.
and these are, in many respects, good people who work hard and follow the laws, and we should think of a way to make sure they're integrated into our society. This country has always been a welcoming place. New York has always been a welcoming place for immigrants of all kinds, and I would hate to see that moved backwards. We're already seeing some of the dangerous consequences of this debate going on nationally. We've had a number of hate crimes in Astoria, of all places, where we have over 100 different languages spoken. People from every religion, every culture are here, every ethnicity, and yet we're seeing people beat up, put in the hospital because their skin color is not the same as somebody else's, and it's something that's just got to stop. We got to remember to be positive and welcoming and not negative and hurtful to our fellow neighbors.
And finally, is there a special bill you're working on? And also, I would like your greeting message for this holiday season, in case I don't see you before Christmas.
Well, first of all, as always, we wish everyone a Merry Christmas or whatever holiday they're celebrating in the holiday season. It's a time for family. It's a time for community. We've had more lightings of trees and holiday decorations in this community than I think anywhere else. I spend most of my time right now between now and Christmas lighting trees around the neighborhood. But that's a great sign that we care about the message of the holiday season, which is loving one's neighbor, loving your family, and spending time bettering your community.
And finally, is there anything special you're working on, a bill?
We're working on improving the ethical culture in the state, and we're going to continue to do that. There's been a number of scandals in Albany and in all of the state, and we need to make sure that people who are elected to office, people who serve the public, that is their primary concern. They shouldn't be making money on the side. They should be focused on their job representing the people, and we're going to try hard to make that the law in New York.
Thank you, Senator Genaris. Merry Christmas, and hopefully we'll see you before the New Year.
I hope so. Merry Christmas to you, Elena.
Councilmember Constantinidis, not long ago we talked about this power plant and your efforts to shut it down on AKTINA FM, and here we are today rallying in this bitter cold to shut this power plant down. Your thoughts?
Elena, thank you for being here as always. Thank you for being the voice of the Greek American community in this way. But yeah, these plants here in Western Queens have been here for decades. But we know their dirty little secret.
Yes.
That they are burning, even though we've phased out in our home heating oil, number 6 and number 4 oil, they continue to burn number 6 in our neighborhoods. To the tune, in a 2-year span, in 2014 and 2015, burning 27 million gallons of number 6 oil. So what does that mean, right? It
means you and I are breathing in right now.
We're breathing in
every day.
We're breathing in more fine particles, more carbon dioxide, more nitrous oxide, more sulfur dioxide. All these triggers, called pulmonary illnesses, are triggers of asthma, are triggers of heart disease. All of these things are being breathed in by our kids in each and every one of us every day. And here in Western Queens, by data given to us by the Asthma Coalition of Queens, demonstrate that in 11106, 11102, and 11101, our 3 zip codes here, we have above average ER visits and above average hospitalizations for asthma in the borough of Queens. That is what we're costing, and the medications our kids have to take, decongestions, steroids, nebulizers with all sorts of albuterol, an inhaler. These things cost real money for the families here in our neighborhoods. And it's time for these power plants, to do the right thing.
Let's remind our AKTINA TV viewers why, although these power plants have given promises to fix the problem, they have not. Just remind our viewers why they're not fixing it.
They say it's just cheaper. It's cheaper to maintain the status quo. That's the number 6 oil is a cheap fuel. That's the biggest problem. It's the worst for you, and it's the cheapest. And that's the rationale for continuing to burn it. We've asked them for a phase out by 2020 of number 6. However, they've shown no demonstration to plans on how that's going to happen. I'm not sure if they think that burning 4 oil is any better, which is 4 oil is a mix of number 6, which is the worst, number 2, which is much better. But that mixture is still polluting. A switch to 4 oil is not the right answer for this neighborhood, not the right answer for our asthma rates, not the right answer to reduce our ER admissions and our hospitalization. So they need to come clean, do the right thing, completely repower these plants, transition these plants away from dirty fuel oil, and make sure that all of us here can, when we're surrounded by these stationary polluters. Other sources of pollution very often move around. Traffic, cars move from here to there. But power plants are stationary in our neighborhood and account for much of these pollutants. Again, 2.8 million tons of carbon were emitted by this plant behind us last year.
Right. Final thoughts and also greeting messages for the holiday season.
I really want to make sure that from my family to yours, everyone watching, I wish you all a Merry, Merry Christmas. I wish you a happy and healthy New Year. I want to wish you, Elena, and AKTINA a very Merry Christmas as well, and a very Happy New Year, and another successful New Year. AKTINA, you do a great job in making sure that we're informed and getting the message out, and we need many more years of AKTINA, so many, many more years, Elena.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you and yours. All the best with health.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Silbach, you represent the American Lung Association. Share your thoughts with us today, please, about these power plants.
Sure. This power plant and power plants like it continue to contribute to the poor air quality that New Yorkers across our region are dealing with every single day. The American Lung Association puts out an annual State of the Air report, and here in Queens and across the city, we have failing grades for ozone. This report shows that millions of New Yorkers are still being exposed to unhealthy air every single day. So we were glad to stand with the council members and the senator today to say, let's stop burning this very dirty heating oil and let's move toward cleaner alternatives, which are there. They just need to make the decision to do it. Air pollution is linked, of course, to asthma, lung disease like lung cancer and COPD. And so communities like this are being exposed to these unhealthy levels of air pollution, and we're literally getting people sick.
Let me ask you a question. These pollutants that we see here, is it just affecting this particular area, or is it affecting all of Astoria?
Sure. So it's interesting. Power plants produce pollution that definitely settles the worst over the communities surrounding them.
Okay.
But some of the poor air pollution that we have here in Queens and across New York City actually comes from dirty power plants out in the Midwest. So pollution could go very far, but it could also settle close. So the communities that are closest to power plants always are being exposed the worst, but pollution also travels, pretty considerable distances as well.
So this pollution over here covers all of Astoria.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know that the pollution that's coming out of this plant is directly contributing to local air pollution. But it's not just, that's the important thing to remember, right? Is if we were to close this power plant tomorrow, there's still other sources. There's still the trucks that are driving by. So we know that the heating oil that's being burned in these buildings, There's a lot of different contributors, but we know there's things we can do to reduce those pollutants,
Right.
and we need to do that today.
Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you.
And happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. I appreciate it.
Mr. Mark, who do you represent?
I work for an organization called We Act for Environmental Justice.
And please tell us why you're here today.
Well, I'm here to stand with people like a council member and chair of the Environmental Committee, Costa Constantinidis, to really, stand with him in the way that he's leading on an issue like this, trying to get the power plants, the 5 power plants in particular around the city that are still burning number 6 oil, to phase that out. Number 6 oil is very dirty and is very harmful to the public's health. It contributes to things like high levels of respiratory illness, asthma, bronchitis, COPD, etc. And it also contributes to the ongoing climate crisis that we're experiencing. Many of the power plants that across the city, there are about 24 of these power plants across the city, that are in predominantly low-income communities and communities of color. And this is about protecting all New Yorkers and making sure that everyone has the clean air that we deserve to breathe, and making sure that the things that power our economy and power our city are not also contributing in the worst way to the climate crisis.
Yes. And how many years you've been involved with the organization? And since you have proof that this oil number 6 and the oil number 4, I think it was mentioned earlier, are disasters for the environment, how come the legislation cannot go after these people and shut them down? And the legislation has to come here and demonstrate.
Well, I think part of the challenge is that, yes, number 6 and number 4 are not the best things for the quality of our air and the public's health. And the science proves that. Number 6 is like thicker than molasses. It's got a lot of impurities and a lot of toxic chemicals in it that, when burned in a turbine, for example, to provide electricity, escape into the atmosphere and essentially get and lodge deep in people's lungs and trigger respiratory illnesses. And that's proven by medical research and so forth. But why do people at the city level have to come before the cameras and hold a press conference on the street? Because they're not in complete control of the regulation of power plants. Power plants are regulated more at the state and federal level than they are at the city level. And that's why it was important for someone like State Senator Mike Gianaris, who represents this area, to be here and to be focused on that issue as well. But we can get to the bottom of this. We can make sure that power plants do the right thing. We need the state's help to make sure that they are cleaning up their act. And certainly the Cuomo administration is focused on sort of making sure that our state cleans up its energy. And so we will be looking to both our state legislators and the governor to make sure that this is taken care of. But city council members like Costa Constantinidis and Jimmy Van Bremer, are leaders on this, and they can raise the issue, they can make sure that their constituents are aware, and in turn their constituents need to come out and basically push their state elected leaders, their state governor, to make a difference.
And finally, I would like to wish you and yours a very happy holiday season. Merry Christmas to you. And I've been covering this since I started this TV show in 2002 with Michael Gianaris, and this was the first plant that we were covering, and he's still working on it, believe it or not.
Well, thank you for sticking with it, because this kind of coverage helps expose these issues to many communities across the city. And certainly, we want the Greek community in the city of New York to be aware of these issues, because they're impacted by it as well. And we need people to stand up and, especially given the election that we've had at the federal level, we know that we're not going to get protection at the federal level around these issues. And so we really need people to step up and make sure that they are telling both their federal leaders, their state elected officials, that this has got to change. We cannot continue down these roads. It's harming too many people, and it's leading in some instances to death, and this is not the way we should be celebrating the holiday season. The best gift would be for there to be an announcement that the plant, both here and the one at Ravenswood and the other 4 across the city that are burning, number 6 oil, are saying to the entire city, we're doing away with number 6 oil, we're going to a cleaner oil fuel. Or, better yet, we're getting out of the fossil fuel business altogether. So thank you for your leadership, and happy holiday to you and your family as well.
Thank you.